Hey everyone, this is Friedel Hagoreja Raven. I'm here with my recap and review of Hightown season number 2, episode number 8, which is titled Houston. We've got a problem, and yeah, our leads did end up facing a whole lot of problems. And with only 2 episodes left for the season, I'm really looking forward to seeing what's going to happen. People do die in this series, so I am worried about a bunch of characters. So episode number 8 opens up with Jackie waking up at Ray's house because she ended up sleeping over there in the previous episode. And we actually see Ray, he's petting the cat. And I have to say that this is a very, very friendly cat that Daisy owned. And yeah, it ended up warming up to Jackie. It has warmed up to Ray. And I'm like, you know what? I've seen cats that will scratch you if you even look at them wrong. But yeah, Jackie's up and Jackie's like, hey, Ray, do you have Gatorade or something? And Ray is like, no, I don't have that, but you can have water. And Jackie's like, you know what, just give me what you got. And this is where the two of them talk about what they need to do next, because Jackie is like, Ray, I'm telling you, Daisy is dead. I have to take this to Alan so that we can really look into it. And Ray is like, hey, Jackie, hold up, hold up. You can't just barge in to tell Alan that your CI is dead because you had a dream or something, or because you just have a hunch. You have to look around. You don't want to make this a mess. So ask friends, look around, see if anyone has seen Daisy recently. That's how you do it. And Jackie's like, yeah, you're right. That's what I'll do. And this is also where Ray is like, hey Jackie, you aren't back to drinking, right? Are you doing okay? Should we go to a meeting? Would that help? And Jackie's like, no, I don't need no meeting. It was just a one time deal. I partied. That was wrong of me. I won't do that again. And she's like, I can't just go to meetings because meetings aren't helping me right now. Focusing on this case is what's helping me. So I'm going to focus on the case, focus on my work, and stop thinking about doing other stuff. No meetings, no nothing, because yeah, all focus on the work. And this is also something that she talks about with Leslie, which I'll get to in a bit. And yeah, Jackie's like, you know what? I'll take your suggestion. I'll go and check around and see if anyone has seen Daisy before I go tell Ellen that she could be dead. While that's happening, we cut to Renee and she's looking at her body in front of the mirror because she's deciding what to wear. And yeah, her baby bump is starting to show. She's running out of time and she needs to figure out what to do, because we learned that she ended up deciding to keep the baby, but she's still with Frankie, and yeah, she's stuck. And as she's checking herself out in the mirror, this is where she starts hearing gunshots. I was like, wait, who's shooting? Is someone shooting towards the house or something? But no, it's something else. But yeah, I liked how Renee ended up falling to the ground, because that's what you do when you hear a gunshot. And she crawls towards the window to see what's up, and this is where she ends up seeing Frankie actually teaching her kid how to shoot a gun at a tree. And I'm like, Frankie, what are you doing? I know that you're worried about your life and your family's safety after what happened with Jorge, but you don't give your 5-year-old a gun. And that's exactly what Renee thought as well. She runs to the backyard and she's like, hey baby, are you all right? Give me the gun. And she's like, and the kid is like, hey, dad was teaching me how to shoot a gun. And Renee is like, yeah, we don't do that, go inside. And he walks inside, and this is where Renee has some words with Frankie. She's like, Frankie, what the heck? You're teaching a 5-year-old to shoot a gun? To do what? The next time someone at school doesn't share so that he can shoot them or something? And Frankie's like, hey, Renee, Jorge is dead. Someone might come at us. Someone might end up hurting me, hurting you, hurting our kid. He needs to defend himself. And I'm still trying to figure out who killed Jorge. And Renee is like, you know what, Frankie? I can tell you the names of 10 people who wanted Jorge dead. So why don't you start checking those names out, huh? And then we cut to Osito in prison, and yeah, it turns out that Osito's doctor, I think her name is Janelle, if I'm correct, but yeah, Janelle isn't here to meet Osito. We have Eugene, again, if I remember correctly, we have Eugene, and Eugene is like, hey, Osito, I'm going to be your trainer from now on. And of course, Osito is worried, because Osito is like, hey, where the heck is Janelle? But yeah, she ain't here. He does end up meeting her later on, and Eugene really puts him through the work. He's not as gentle with him as Janelle is, but I guess Osito just has to go with it. Then we cut to Jackie meeting Donna. She's been taking her classes, which, you know what, Donna? Good for you. And Jackie's like, hey, Donna, you know Daisy, right? And Donna's like, yeah, I know. Have you seen her around or something? And Donna's like, yeah, I have to tell you that I haven't seen Donna lately. I saw her like the night before Thanksgiving. She was with Jorge. And speaking of Jorge, I haven't seen Jorge around either. And yeah, Jackie really now she knows that Daisy is dead and Jorge is missing as well. And she's like, you know what, you taking classes and working towards your associate degree, Junior would be proud. And Donna is like, you know what, Jackie, Junior would be proud of you as well because you're sober, right? And Jackie lies to her. Jackie's like, yeah, I'm like 70 something days sober. And I'm like, oh, Jackie. Yeah, Jackie is inside her car. She is trying to contain her emotions. And she's like, you know what next? What next? So she ends up looking at Daisy's Instagram account. Oh yeah, I also have this image of the school that Donna is attending and all of that stuff. So yeah, she look at Daisy's Instagram and she notices a picture of Daisy with her kid, and Jackie reads the school name on the certificate, and she's like, "Yep, I'm going to go and talk to her kid." I'm like, "Oh, Jackie." So while that's happening, Frankie decides to pay a visit to Osito because of what Renee said about 10 people wanting Jorge dead. And yeah, Frankie really thinks that it's Osito who ended up killing Jorge. And Osito's like, hey, Frankie, I don't roll like that, okay? If I wanted to kill Jorge, you would know that I'm the one who killed Jorge. And I handle my business myself. And if I had killed Jorge, I would have sent the pieces of his dead body to your doorstep with a note saying that it was me. And Frankie's like, okay, Osito. And of course, Frankie notices that Osito is wearing a green outfit. And he's like, so you have been snitching on us? With other people, and that's why you're getting the favors inside of jail. And Osito's like, yeah, I didn't say nothing. I'm not a snitch. I don't tell secrets. And Frankie's like, okay, but you do know that the board who ended up giving you some leniency in jail, that can those people can change quick, huh? So be careful. Of course, Osito is now worried that Frankie might do something to take away his green outfit, and also Osito has a conversation with Alan later on, and Alan threatens him too. So Osito really needs to pick a side. So Renee, because she's really worked up after what Jorge said to her, and now he was teaching their kid to shoot a gun. Renee is like, Ray, you have to help me. I'm in trouble. And Ray is, and also in the previous episode, Ray did tell Renee that the DEA is looking into Frankie, and she's a suspect too. And also because Ray lied to her about the tracker under her car, so Renee is really worried, and she's like, Ray, you have to help me. And Ray is like, well, Renee, I can't help you until you help me. So tell me anything, any information that can help us put Frankie back behind bars. And Renee is like, I don't know a lot of stuff, but I do know that Frankie and Charmaine are working together, and I know that there's going to be a pickup later at the airport. So that's all I can tell you. And Renee's like, hey, Renee, I can work with that. Then we get to see Alan, and he's reading the newspaper, and we have an obituary for Eileen, and yeah, Patty's the one who put the newspaper on Alan's desk, and he reads the note, and he's like, so her funeral is being held at the specific church. I'm going to go pay a visit because I think he thinks that Charmaine would be there, but Charmaine isn't. Even though she is making the preparations for the funeral. She won't be attending, and she's talking to the flower person on the cell phone. She's like, I need a lot of flowers, but not pink because Eileen didn't like pink. She hears a knock at the door, and it's Frankie. And Frankie is like, hey, Charmaine, things are going to change from now on. And Charmaine is like, what do you mean? Frankie is like, we have heat on us. So wherever you are, everything you do, I need to monitor you. And Charmaine is like, wait, so you're going to tell me how to live my life? You're going to tell me how to do my job? And because Frankie even tells Charmaine that why the heck is she supplying to Osito? And she's like, well, it's my stash. I can do whatever the heck I want. And Frankie's like, as I said, we have heat on us. Bigger players have entered the picture. You need to be careful, and from now on, you're going to work directly with me, okay? And Charmaine is like, okay, if you want to drive me around, that's on you. And then we get to see Ray meeting up with this officer at the what was it? Some sort of expo, if I remember correctly. So yeah, this is the person who's the head of the local police department, I guess, or the entire jurisdiction. again, the police work thing, I'm not really, yeah, I don't know a lot about it. So Ray is like, hey, what if I tell you that I can bring you Frankie and we can handle the Frankie situation before the DEA does, and we can get to this guy who goes by the code name New York, and we can also get Charmaine. And the officer is like, Ray, I understand that you want to come back into the force, but this is too much, don't you think? And I'm not going to make any promises or going to make any arrests until we have proof. And Rhea's like, I'll get you proof. I can do that for you. But if I work on this case, you'll put me back in the force, right? And the officer is like, yeah, I'll see what I can do. So bring me Frankie. So Jackie decides to go and meet up with Daisy's child, her daughter, at school, and she's like, "Hey, have you met your mom lately?" And yeah, the kid is like, "Yeah, I think I talked to her before Thanksgiving. I haven't talked to her since. Why are you asking?" And Jackie's like, "It's just that I'm taking care of Daisy's pet cat, so I was just wondering if she'll be back soon." And the kid is like, "Hey, do you like my mom?" And Jackie's like, "Yep. So if you like my mom, you shouldn't be worried about her coming back. She would never leave her cat behind." And yeah, again, Jackie's like, "Yep, Daisy's dead." So we got to Osito. He's not, yeah, he is upset of after his interaction with Frankie, and also because he doesn't have Jolene as his physiotherapist anymore. It's Eugene, and she goes in, and he goes into the cell, and he meets up with his partner, who is high. Which, I mean, I think we all saw this coming, that his partner was going to partake in some of the stuff. And Osito is like, hey, if you continue doing this, I'm going to cut you off. And the partner is like, yeah, whatever, man, I'll try. And he ends up sleeping. Osito might have to end up killing him, because if he cuts his partner off, his partner might end up blackmailing Osito. And that could turn into an entire situation. But let's see what happens. So Jackie comes back to Ray, and Jackie is like, Ray, I know for sure that Daisy is dead. We have to do something. I have to tell Alan. And Ray is like, wait. Let's think about it. We can figure the stuff out. We can get to Frankie. We can get to the people who killed Daisy. We can do this all by ourselves. And he's also like, also Jorge is missing or something. And we can make all of this work to favor us. And Jackie's like, okay, so what do you have in mind? And this is where Ray is like, well, I flipped Renee. And Jackie's like, are you out of your mind? You flipped Renee? She betrayed you. And she's going to betray you again. Ray is like, no, it's not like that anymore. She's in trouble as well. Oh, also, I forgot. Ray has been looking out for Renee as well, because when he was talking to that officer at the expo, he asked for immunity. I guess that he wants to give the immunity to Renee, and he wants to look after Renee and raise her kid together, because he wants a do-over, because he wasn't a good father previously with his older kid. And I'm like, okay, Ray, if you say so. And also, Renee hasn't told Ray that she's pregnant, and I think that she's keeping that information because she'll use it down the line as a trump card or something. And Ray wanting to be a better father to Renee's kid, and him not necessarily being a father to his own kid. I'm like, that's iffy. That's problematic. You should try reaching out to your kid again, huh? Before you start raising other kids. As a do-over. You can't necessarily do things over, because the damage is done. You have to repair it. Anyway, Ray is like, hey, I trust Renee. She gave me information. She told me about the next pickup, and we can get to Charmaine. We can get to Frankie at the airport. They're using a private jet to fly around. And Jackie is like, oh, that's good news, right? So I'll talk to Alan, and we'll get the force team set up. And Ray is like, no. We are not going to involve Alan. You have to do this down low. No one can know about this. And after we have got Frankie and Charmaine, no one else, not even Alan, will even care to ask how we managed to do it. And Jackie's like, okay, I've got a plan. I'll set it up. So Jackie's plan actually involves reaching out to Leslie, and she's like, Leslie, what do you think about being able to catch Frankie, huh? And Leslie's like, Jackie, what the heck are you doing? And Jackie tells Leslie about the airport drop and how they're going to catch Frankie and Charmaine, but Alan can't know about it. And Leslie's like, you know what, Jackie, are you sure about this? And Jackie's like, yep, I'm 100% sure. Please, I need this. We have to do this. And Leslie's like, okay, let's do this. Let's do this without Alan knowing. So it's the next day, and Leslie and Jackie are at the airport with their team, and they're going to wait out for Charmaine and Frankie to arrive. And I'm like, you know what? I don't think that this plan is going to go the way that they think it is, and of course it doesn't. So while they're waiting, Frankie is like, Renee, I have to go. I have to go pick up Charmaine and do all of that stuff. And Renee, because she knows that it's time for Frankie to go, she's like, goodbye, Frankie. And she basically, the way that she said goodbye, it was like a final goodbye. And again, during a previous interaction in this episode between Ray and Renee, Renee did tell Ray that she has been with Frankie since ever since she was like 18 years old. She doesn't have any her own identity. She hasn't explored her own identity and what she wants to do in life. Everything she is, everything she has done, it has always been connected to Frankie, and it's very tough for her to give up Frankie in a sense. And Ray is like, Renee, listen to me. He's a drug dealer. He's a murderer. You have to let him go. Then we got to Eileen's funeral. People are attending the funeral. Alan is there, but Charmaine isn't there. Charmaine is in her motel room. She's just crying, being all emotional. And the actress, I said this before, the actress playing Charmaine, I think that she's doing a wonderful job as a character, showing us these different layers that Charmaine has. Of course, she's a drug dealer. She's trying to be strong, but she's still a little kid. And there are moments where her facade cracks, and we get to see a whole lot of emotion coming from Charmaine. So she hears a knock at the door, and it's Frankie, and he's here to pick her up. And Jeff Remain is like, Frankie, you're like an hour earlier. And Frankie's like, yeah, that doesn't matter. Let's go. We have to go. And I also have a new car because people are tracking us, so we need to lose them too. So while Leslie and Jackie are waiting for Charmaine and Frankie to arrive at the airport, Jackie and Leslie actually have a heart to heart where Jackie basically apologizes to Leslie for her behavior earlier, because it turns out that Jackie, she's she tells Leslie about the addictive mind, where it's basically like when an addict is trying to let go of their addiction, they tend to focus on something else in order to replace their previous addiction. And for Jackie, for the past couple of days, her replacement was Leslie, and that wasn't fair to Leslie. And Leslie is like, okay, I understand that, and I forgive you, but what's your replacement now? And Jackie's like, this work, focusing on the current work is my replacement now. And Leslie is like, okay, I guess whatever works for you. And I like the fact that they're back to being friends. So as Frankie is driving Charmaine, she notices that they are missing the airport, the turn towards the airport, and she's like, okay, where are we going, Frankie? Frankie's like, I just have to do a little pickup. And I'm like, oh, Frankie's going to do something to Charmaine, right? I could just feel it. Over at the funeral, Alan decides to talk to Charmaine's aunt, and he's like, I'm really sorry for your loss. I couldn't stop Eileen from dying because I couldn't stop the drugs from being circulated in Cape Town, and it's my fault. And but you know what? I can still help your other relative, your other niece. I can still help Charmaine. And will you accept my help? You have to tell me where she is. And yeah, Charmaine's aunt, yeah, she has dealt with police before. She has dealt with people like Ellen before, and she ends up saying that, you know what, Charmaine was 8 when her parents died. She's seen a whole lot of funerals over the years, and Wayne was the one who put a roof over these girls' heads, and he's the one who helped them become strong. And they are a family, and the number one rule in their family is that never to talk to the police. So yeah, talking to the aunt didn't do Alan any good. And as he's walking out of the church, he gets a call, and he's like, wait, Frankie? And it's basically a call telling him that Frankie came to visit Osito, and he's like, yep, I'm on my way. So Renee, because as far as Renee is concerned, today is the day that Frankie will be put behind bars, and of course she's worried about the entire thing. She feels anxious, she's agitated, and she's like, Ray, you have to tell me that everything is going to be fine, everything is going to work out. And Ray's like, yep, Renee, I'm saying to you right now that everything will work out, and we'll end up spending our life together, I guess. Again, I'm still not really sure why Renee hasn't told Ray that she's pregnant with her kid. So Frankie drives Charmaine to the secluded area, and yeah, Charmaine is like, "What the heck, Frankie? What are you doing?" Frankie is like, "Get out of the car," and she's like, "Really, really, Frankie?" And he says, "Yep." Get out of the car. And he does. And this is another scene where where Charmaine, being a kid, it really comes true because yeah, Charmaine is like, Charmaine is like, yep, he's going to kill me, right? He's going to kill me right here. What have I done? I guess she's questioning questioning her life choices. Maybe the fact that Charmaine does end up getting this scared because of Frankie, maybe that's what might urge her to reach out to Ellen to save her own life. Who knows? But yeah, it turns out it is not Charmaine that Frankie wants to kill. It's actually the private jet pilot, and I'm like, oh no, not him, not him. And yeah, Frankie ends up killing the pilot because he's like, you know what? If this pilot talks to anyone, this entire operation will be jeopardized. The police will be after us, and I can't have that. From now on, I'm going to control everything that we do. No private jets, no more. I'm going to drive you to all of the pickup spots, and now help me bury this person's party. So yeah, Charmaine now realizes that she's dealing with a very, very angry and a very, very powerful man when it comes to Frankie. So Leslie and Jackie decide to talk to one of the people in the offices at the airport to see if the pilot was even scheduled to drive the private jet today. And yeah, the guy is like, "Yep, he was scheduled. He was supposed to be here, but he isn't. And it's not like the pilot to be late." And he ends up calling the pilot, and of course he's dead, so he doesn't pick up. And Leslie is like, "Okay, I guess the mission has failed." And Jackie ends up sending a message to Ray, and she's like, airport was a bust, no one showed. And yeah, it turns out that Ray is actually at the beach with Renee, and they're talking, and he gets the message, and he's like, Renee, no one came to the airport. Were you lying to me? And Renee is like, no, 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 I wasn't lying to you. The drop was supposed to happen today. My bad. I'm not really sure what happened. And yeah, she's actually starting to worry about herself again, which makes sense because she's like, okay, so if Frankie didn't come to the airport, then that means that he's at home. He's waiting for me. Ray, I have to go. And she just runs away from him. And then we have a scene between Jackie and Leslie, and Jackie's like, hey, there has to be another angle. We can't just let this mission go. We have to get to Frankie. And Leslie's like, Jackie, I listened to you. I helped you with the mission, but you have to realize that it didn't work. We got played, and we can continue talking about this at the office, like how police officers are supposed to do. And yeah, she's basically. I like the fact that Leslie ended up helping Jackie, but she's also disappointed in her, and Jackie is disappointed in herself as well. With 2 more episodes left, I am interested in seeing how the relationship is going to develop, if it even does. So Renee comes back home, and it turns out that Frankie is waiting for her, and he has the tracker that was under her car. He has found it, and he is like, Renee, do you know what this is? And Renee is like, no, Frankie, I don't know what this is. You tell me. And Frankie is like, this is a tracker that the police used to track us. So someone is tracking us, Renee. And Renee is, of course, very, very worried about her own life. She's like, maybe Frankie is going to kill me here right now. But no, Frankie is like, you know what, Renee, you're right. I have been putting a whole lot of pressure on you and our kid, and I won't do that anymore. And I'm going to handle everything myself. You don't have to be involved in any of it. And Renee, of course, she's into providing information to Ray. She's like, Frankie, why would you do that? Don't you trust me anymore? And Frankie is like, hey, I trust you, but I have to deal with this myself. And Renee is like, okay, if you say so. And these two hook up. And I think that Renee is going to try and gain information from Frankie again. And Frankie might even lie to her about information to see if she's been snitching. So I am afraid, yeah, I am scared for Renee's life moving forward. Alan decides to pay Osito a visit, and Alan is like, okay, so who the heck have you been talking to? Charmaine was here a few weeks ago, and then you ended up meeting Frankie yesterday. What the heck are you doing, Osito? I'm giving you all of these favors in jail, and what am I getting in return? Nothing. You have to give me something, Osito. And Osito's like, oh yeah. Okay, so you got me. Charmaine came, Frankie came, because Frankie thinks that I'm the one who killed Jorge. And Alan's like, wait, what? Jorge is dead? And Osito's like, yep, that's what Frankie said. And yeah, this is also where Ellen is like, you know what, Osito, you need to start giving me more, because if you don't, I'm going to take away the green outfit from you. And then it's time for Leslie to drop Jackie off, and Jackie's like, again, Leslie, I'm sorry. And Leslie's like, Jackie, I don't want to talk about this anymore. I'm tired. I've been awake for a very long time now. I just want to go home and rest. We'll talk about the case at the office. And yeah, Jackie, I think that Jackie is going to try and make it up to her. So Osito, because he gets a 5 minute break, he decides to go pay a visit to Jolene in her office, and this is where they get to talk about how their flirtation is messed up because Jolene is like, you know what, I've been working in this sector for 10 years and I've seen a whole bunch of women falling for bad guys because they like the rush, the change, and I'm not that girl, Osito, I'm not. And Osito's like, okay, so if you aren't that girl, so why did you kiss me? And Jolene is like, Osito, don't make this harder than it is. I can't do this with you. And Osito's like, hey, Jolene, don't worry about it. I'm not going to stay here forever, right? And the day that I come out, I'm going to come pay a visit to you. I'm going to come and visit your house, pay a visit to you, and I'm going to bring flowers, and then you'll be waiting for me, and you're going to invite me in, and that's what's going to happen when I'm finally a free man. And Julian is like, okay, okay, yeah. Osito really laid it out. He's very very smooth when it comes to talking to women. I really enjoyed this entire interaction. And Julian is like, you know what, Osito, you will get out, and I want you to come meet me. And yeah, until then, you have to deal with Eugene. So moving on, Ray notices that the tracker has been disconnected, and he's like, "Uh-oh!" And then he hears a knock at the door, and it's Jackie. And Jackie is, of course, very upset at Ray, and she's like, not Ray, and she's like, you know what? Renee lied. She played you. No one came to the airport. What the heck are you doing, Ray? I listened to you. I messed up. I made Leslie be disappointed in me again. And Ray is like, hey, Renee told me the truth. She was also worried, and Jack is like, you know what? Call Renee right now. Call Renee right now. Because one of the reasons that I did all of this, it's because you told me that Renee knows about Daisy. So call Renee right now and ask her what she knows about Daisy. And Renee's like, okay, let's do that. So he texts Renee, and Renee decides to call. He texts her, and she calls him back, and she's like, what the heck, Ray? I'm with Frankie. I can't talk to you right now. And he's like, I'm not the one who wants to talk to you. Talk to Jackie. And she's like, okay, so this is a conference call, huh? And yeah, Jackie asks Renee about Daisy, and Renee is like, I don't know about Daisy. I don't know nothing about her. And she hangs up. And of course, that disappoints. And frustrates Jackie further. She's like, Ray, Renee just told me that she doesn't know about anything about concerning Daisy. You used me, Ray. You used me. And Ray is like, But yeah, basically, Jackie is very disappointed in Ray because she's like, I knew you were an a-hole, but I never knew that you would be an a-hole to me, Ray. I never thought that you could be an a-hole to me. And I'm like, Jackie, that's how people like Ray operate. Everything they do, they're going to do for their own benefit. The entire Frankie and Charmaine trying to catch them at the airport, the entire thing of reeling you in, it was also that Ray could get back into the force. And yeah, he's only looking out for himself, and I can't necessarily blame him because I mean, look at him, he's like living in his basement. But yeah, Jackie's like, you know what, Ray, you and I, we're done. And she just walks out, but she's like, nah, I'm going to take the cat. And Ray is like, why the heck are you taking the effing cat? What the heck are you going to do with the effing cat? Because you can tell that Ray has really warmed up to the cat. And because he's lonely, sitting alone in his basement, he liked the little company. And after picking up the cat, Jackie is like, what the heck are you going to do with the cat, Ray? And the way that Monica acted this entire scene out, her facial expression, it really made me laugh out loud. The way she was like, what the heck are you going to do with the cat? But yeah, she takes the cat home with her, and Ray is all alone now. And I think that Ray is going to figure out another way to get back into force because Jackie's like, you know what, I'm going to go and talk to Alan. Which she does. She decides to go to his home, knock at the door, and she's like, Alan, I can't prove it, but I know for sure that Daisy is dead. And Frankie is involved, and Frankie knows that I know that I'm after him. You have to help me, Alan. And Alan gives her a very stern talk right now, which I think that Jackie needed. Alan is like, Jackie, you can't just walk up to my house and put all of this information on me and expect me to do something and know about your little airport mission because I got contacted by them. And you can't do this, Jackie. If you want to become an officer, you have to be serious about this. And Jackie's like, it wasn't my fault. I was just following a lead from Ray. And Alan is like, Ray, you followed the lead from Ray? What the heck are you doing, Jackie? Why are you picking up bad habits from Ray? You don't have to do that. And yeah, basically Ellen is giving her tough love. It's something that she does need to listen to at this point of her career and her life. And he's also like, Jackie, have you been high? Have you been drinking? And Jackie is like, no, I'm not, I'm sober. And Ellen's like, I guess I'll put you on for weekly urine tests, huh? And yeah, Jackie, yeah, she needed this check. She really needed it. And as she is walking away, this is where Alan's soft side comes out, and Alan is like, "Hey, Jackie, if Daisy is indeed dead, we will find her, but we are going to do this the right way." And that gives Jackie some comfort because she's like, "Yep, I can trust Alan, and he's still going to help me, and we're going to get justice for Daisy." So Jackie comes home with her cat, and Frankie and his guard are waiting for him at the front door. And I'm like, what's going to happen? Is Frankie going to pull a gun on Jackie right now? Is he going to kill the cat? Is he going to kick the cat? I was actually very worried about the cat during this moment. And yeah, Frankie knows what Jackie has been up to. And Jackie is like, you know what, Frankie, I'm not afraid of you. I have a gun with me. If you try anything, I'm going to shoot. And Frankie's like, yeah. You're trying to be brave, but I can feel that you are scared. And yeah, Jackie is scared. Like, she should be scared, considering that she's talking to Frankie at night all alone and he could just shoot her and walk away. But as they're talking, Jackie's landlord comes out, and he's like, Jackie, are you okay there? And Jackie's like, yep, we're okay. And the guard actually looks at the landlord. He is huge. Back in here in the background, he is huge. And yeah, at first I was like, wait, is the guard going to bash the landlord head on the door or something? But no, Frankie stops, and Frankie's like, we aren't doing this right now, because the landlord is like, you know what, I also called the cops, so you better leave my property. And Frankie, as he's walking past Jackie, he's like, you know what, Jackie, we'll meet again soon. And the guard also walks away, and as both of them are driving away, this is where the guard actually yells at Jackie to look after herself, because yeah, I think that this isn't, yeah, they aren't done. With only two more episodes left, I'm afraid of for Jackie. I'm afraid for her well-being. She might get severely hurt. Something might happen to her cat. Something might happen to her landlord. I'm not really sure. But yeah, two more episodes left. Jackie tried to focus on the work. She tried to team up with Ray. It didn't work. Even Leslie warned her to not to distance herself from Ray. She's like, Ray is a piece of work. You have to stay away from him, Jackie. Even Alan isn't happy with Ray. But yeah, with only two more episodes left, let's see what's going to happen next. Let me know what you thought of the episode down in the comment section below. And until next time, stay happy, stay safe, stay blessed. See you guys later.